Trick-or-Treating 101. Scene 1. Narrator's house. Enter narrator. Narrator. Halloween. Now what does that mean to most people? It's a fun, festive time of year where people dress up in all sorts of crazy costumes. The decorations have a hauntingly beautiful decor, and streets are lined with little kids being their cute little selves, holding their parents' hands and trick-or-treating for UNICEF. We all remember those days. But today I'm going to be talking about something very different. How to deal with actual living, breathing teenagers. A rare species indeed. Just like my mom. But we don't have to worry about her tonight. Voice from backstage. Jack, are you making another stupid Halloween video again? Narrator. Yes, mother. Anyway, back on the subject at hand, teenagers. And I'm not talking about Halloween parties. Those are just so cliche, and if you want to get in on that action, you should probably be watching a sitcom instead. Oh, who am I kidding? I need all the viewers I can get. I shouldn't be insulting the common option. But tonight, I'm going to be talking about something very different. I'm talking about trick-or-treating teenagers' do's and don'ts. This is Trick-or-Treating 101. Let's start with do's and don'ts for trick-or-treaters. Do, wear a costume. Doorbell rings. Kid wearing sheep costume. Boo. Narrator. Good enough. Could be scarier. You get 2. Hey, not the Twix. It's mine. You know what? Why don't you take a boring candy like Three Musketeers? Your costume's too unoriginal, and you're giving me a headache with that sheep voice. Happy Halloween. Closes door. Moving on. Don't. Not wear a costume. Doorbell rings. Kid. Looking stoned, not wearing a costume, and holding an empty garbage bag. Happy Halloween, dude. Gnarly costume. Let me get some of that Twix, bruh. Nope, narrator. Nope. Slams door shut. That guy was about as stoned as Roman architecture. Anyway, we covered the trick-or-treaters, now for the trick-or-treatees. I hope I said that right. Do. Come up with creative tricks to throw a curveball at unexpected trick-or-treaters. All you need for my favorite trick is Velcro gloves. You reach into some little kid's pumpkin and give them 3 pieces of candy, but latch on to 6 others for a net gain of 3 pieces of candy. Oldest trick in the book. To be honest, I did copy some other YouTuber on this one, but I guess he took his video down because it was so scandalous, so I called dibs on putting it back out there. Anyway, let's give it a test, shall we? Doorbell rings. Narrator. Hee. Puts hand in kid's pumpkin. Kid. What the heck? Give me back my candy, punk, or I'll beat you with this eggnog-filled sock. And by the way, didn't you rip this idea off that one guy who made that video? Sorry. No, I'm sorry. Please have mercy on my dairy-free soul. Gives back candy. Closes door. Well, that didn't go so well. But when at first you don't succeed, try again. Doorbell rings. Narrator. Wish me luck this time, beings beyond the 4th wall. Puts hand in kid's pumpkin. This time it's a little kid. Kid's mom. I saw that, you sneaky pants. Give me back my poor child's candy. Kid. Give me back my candy or I will make a scene in front of my mom and you don't want that. Narrator. No thank you. I stole this fair and square. Aside. Boy, they sure do make them feistier these days. Kid's mom. I'll have you know I'm on the city council, and if you don't give my kid back his candy, I'll make your life hell building apartments next to your house. Narrator. No, anything but that. My mom has a binocular fetish, and she'll be peeping through those windows like there's no tomorrow to see who has cable and who doesn't. Here's your kid's candy back, ma'am. Closes door. Small town protective parents, go figure. Anyway, speaking of my mom, she also has a fishing pole that she uses to fish for trick-or-treaters from the upstairs window. I know, it's pretty creepy. And finally, our last example. Don't get ideas from Expert Village. I mean, they're good for small-town protective parents, but their whole thing about getting rid of all suspiciously opened candy wrappers? Whoever heard of such blasphemy? I say if it's Twix, eat it. No wonder that videos get so many dislikes on YouTube. I, however, clicked the like button because I believe the guy who makes them is handsome and sexy. Well, now that we got our do's and don'ts out of the way, it's time for me to read you guys a story. Open storybook. Scene 2, Oak Hill Road. Enter narrator, Jack, Duncan, Emily, and Sarah. Narrator. It begins on a stormy Halloween night where me, the amazing vlogger Jack, and my friends Duncan, Emily, and Sarah were finishing up trick-or-treating and getting geared up to teepee grumpy old Miss Clydesonberry's house. And first of all, let me make the ever-important distinction between cute, decorative, and festive little kids' neighborhoods and neighborhoods that gave me and my friends a decent adrenaline rush. This neighborhood was one of the latter. Jack. Hey, thanks for coming with us, Sarah. I wasn't sure you would. Sarah. I'm only here because Emily is here and she's popular. Also, I need some sanity in my life. I can't do parties because they nauseate me, and Emily's the only one I can count on to stick by me. Plus, she looks so fantastic in those, Emily, rabbit ears. I'm a rabbit. You know, all it takes is the ears and you're good. This way, I can look my best and still get attention as a trick-or-treater. Jack. Well, we're glad you're here, Sarah. Should we decide who has the dumbest costume? Emily, what would be your opinion? Emily. I think you're running out of ideas, Jack. Remember, adventure's in the air, the crisp leaves are falling, it's drizzling, black cats are everywhere, the moon is yellow, and carved pumpkins with sustainable light bulbs inside light the streets, and Duncan. Okay, we get it. Emily. But seriously, Jack, you have the dumbest costume. All you did was put stuffing under your shirt and on your shirt draw a hot dog that looks like a banana and call yourself an American. Jack. Okay, fine, I have the worst costume. Maybe all these raisins are getting to my head. I swear, like half my pumpkin is raisins. Are people just lazy this year, or is it my costume? Anyway, I think Duncan takes the cake as most ridiculous costume. I mean, he's a giant pillow. Duncan. Hey, I can't help it if I want hot girls to put their head on me. Some girls from the food sculpture club at school did it this morning. It took them a while to realize their mistake, that I wasn't an actual pillow. Not a good experience, but hey, at least I'm making progress. Sarah. What a strange child you are, Duncan. To Emily and Jack. He's not a real pillow. Good costume, but we all know Duncan, right? Jack. Yeah, we figured. You don't have to have your eyes open to know Duncan's arms and legs and popcorn-shaped head are sticking out of that fake yet so soft and real-looking giant pillow. Sarah. Just making sure. Don't want any more tomfoolery on his part. Hey, anyone want some chicken soup? And then she holds up a water sack used for bicyclists filled with chicken soup. Emily. What is that thing that looks like a cow's udder? Sarah. It's a sack bicyclists use for storing water, so I thought I'd do the same thing for chicken soup since I'm a chicken this year, you know, to go along with the costume. Duncan. Good. It sure is good to stay moisturized, Sarah. Whoops, I mean hydrated. Jack. We're approaching Miss Clydesonberry's house now. But first, look at all that free candy in the house next door. It says take one. Yeah, right. Dumps a whole basket of candy into his pumpkin. Sarah. Hey, wait a minute. I may just have something to say about this. Why steal from those who give? Halloween is far more than a time of simple tricks and treats. It's time to honor the hard work of others in the harvest, to work together to frighten the evil spirits away. Why follow the norm of taking, stealing in fact, and eating as much as we can? Do any of you have any idea what it means to have a perfect Halloween? One where we can follow the footsteps of our parents and set an example for little kids, help them face their fears in this scary world. When I was young, I had a dream. I dream that when I grow up and when I become a teenager, that I would only take one from signs that say, take one. But I can't do this alone. I need support to realize my vision. Who's with me? Oh, who am I kidding? Give me some of that candy. My mouth's drying up from all that salty chicken soup. Osmosis, you know? And then she takes some candy from Jack. Duncan. Glad we're all on the same page. Now let's teepee the Clydesonberry house. It's all for one and one for all, they say. For Narnia and beyond. Emily. Duncan, do me a favor and shut up. And stop with the copyright. We're going to put this all on home video. Narrator. Steps into the scene. YouTube hadn't been invented yet. Steps out of the scene. Duncan. Anytime, Margaret. Emily. Call me by my real name again and I will dump my candy on your poofy face. Duncan. Well, wait. Someone else besides my mom thinks my head is poofy? Man, it's like I'm having that orange armadillo nightmare all over again. Those pesky little things. Emily. What are you talking about? Duncan. Well, lately I've been having these strange nightmares where I'm in the house, I'm in my house, and before I go to bed, my mom tells me my head looks poofy. It's a reasonable fear of mine. Then I go to my bedroom, and orange armadillos that smell like cheese start stealing my posters of Scarlett Johansson into the night. Looks at others. Nightmares suck, man. Sarah. Oh, Duncan. We'll never quite understand Duncan. Exit all. Scene 3. Miss Clydesenberry's house. Enter Jack, Duncan, Emily, Sarah, and Miss Clydesenberry, sleeping on her porch, using her doormat as a blanket. Narrator. It was finally time. The moment was upon us, and in front of us stood Miss Clydesenberry's house. Its fate was inevitable. Jack. Let's make sure we're all geared up. Paper towels? Duncan. Check. Jack. Cheese spray. Emily. Check. Jack. Taxidermy stuffed turkey parts? Jack. Sarah. Check. Jack. I'm personally surprised you keep those around. Sarah. Yeah, well. Jack. I mean, it is 1 month too early. Emily. What do we use those for again? Sarah. Well, instead of using them for obvious purposes like fueling my washing machine, I'm going to put them all in Miss Clydesenberry, around Miss Clydesenberry as she sleeps. So when she wakes up and finds her house teepeed, she will be too scared to move and won't be able to call the police. Jack. Great idea, and I don't need to carry anything because I have my fabulous wits. Emily. What do we know about Miss Clydesenberry anyway? For all we know, she could be a sweet old lady. Duncan. Well, I know she is a high school math teacher and she's known for giving kids extra credit that bring her Diet Coke. Jack. And she's a widow to a very grumpy old man who died because his smallest toe is infected. They say his ghost haunts those who teepee the house. Stage directions. The crew then proceeds to teepee the house, or rather the stage, as this is merely a play. Miss Clydesenberry snores loudly a few times, as if she is waking up, which causes the crew to halt. But she calms down. After she calms down, they continue. Finally, she wakes up. Miss Clydesenberry. What are you kids doing? I'll eat your livers for breakfast tomorrow. How dare you teepee my house? And what is this cheesy stuff? Smells like an armadillo. Duncan. Don't talk about armadillos. You're scaring me with that armadillo talk. Man, I need to sleep better. Miss Clydesenberry. Although I do like these taxidermy turkeys, I'll use them to fuel my washing machine. But nonetheless, I hate you all, and my husband's vengeance will be upon you. Miss Clydesenberry proceeds to grab all the kids' candy and eat it while shoving the kids out of the way. Duncan. Margaret, get us out of here. Emily. I told you not to call me that. Dumps her candy on Duncan's head. You have officially lost the title of being my servant. Now leave, Duncan. No one wants your weird self here anymore. All in favor of voting Duncan off the island? A yay would be great. This is a democracy after all. Sirens sound. Enter Officer Tissier. Officer Tissier, in French accent. Bonjour, my friends. What is this? A fancy Halloween shish kebab? I wouldn't expect anything better of you pesky teenagers. Jack. Officer Tissier, it's not what it looks like. Officer Tissier. That's Officer Tissier to you, young man. What do you think I am, something you blow your nose with? Jack. Sorry, Officer Tissier. I mean Tissier. Miss Clydesenberry. Arrest them. They've teepeed my entire house. And my cat. Oh, poor Mr. McMuffin. He's trapped inside with all the smelly cheese and everything. Officer Tissier. I'm sorry, but I will not be arresting anyone tonight. Miss Clydesenberry. Why not? How dare these kids get away with such preposterous adolescent actions? Officer Tissier. Well, you see, they managed to pronounce my name correctly after I told them what it truly was, and I give these kids, how you say, props for that. As for your cat, I will have my men get him safely out of the house without a scent of the stinky cheese man. Kids, I leave you off with a warning. Emily. Thanks, Officer Tissier. Exit Officer Tissier. Miss Clydesenberry. This isn't over. My husband will get you back when the clock strikes midnight tonight. Exit Miss Clydesenberry. Duncan. We've got to do something or we're ghost beef. Get it? Like roast beef? You see what I did there? Sarah. Yeah, you're not very funny. Emily. Now wait a minute. I may just need you, Duncan, a bit longer. Duncan. Why? I thought I was done for. No longer getting to follow you around and making you laugh. Well, somewhat, yes, somewhat laugh. It's a tragedy on all levels. Emily. No, you're fine now. I need someone who can make me look smarter and slightly more attractive by comparison. Plus, to be honest, Duncan, you make my day sometimes. Duncan. Yay. Thanks for appreciating me. Emily. Well, this stays inside the circle. I don't want anyone else to appreciate you. Jack. But seriously, guys, how about we spend the night at my place tonight? That way we can keep a lookout for ghosts. Exit all. Scene 4. Jack's bedroom. Enter Jack, Duncan, Emily, and Sarah. Emily. Well, your shenanigans got us in a whole load of trouble. We almost got arrested and now we're going to get eaten by a ghost. Duncan. Don't you think for a second you weren't part of it. And I can't still get that plastic scent of non-candies like lollipops and airheads out of my beautiful hair. Jack. Relax, you guys. It'll be okay. I have a Ouija board. We can talk to Mr. Clydesonberry's ghost before he comes and tell him, to not come. Sarah. We can bribe him with pizza. I hear ghosts love pizza. Jack. My magnetic personality also should repel any ghosts that come near me. I'm just looking out for you guys because I care. Emily. Or so you can guilt bucket us into giving you the few pieces of candy we managed to ransom after the scuffle at Miss Clydesonberry's house. Jack. Or that, but anyways, into my fort where we shall summon the ghost of... Duncan. Yeah, let's just get this done. Everyone goes under the fort. Sarah. Shall I tell a ghost story? Jack. Go for it, but make it snappy. We have to get on with this. Sarah. One day there was a boy that was so narcissistic because he said something witty about airplane food and it got to his head. But what he didn't realize is that all the ghosts in the world wanted to fondle his nose and... Jack. This is about me, isn't it? Not cool, Sarah, and you know how how private my nose is to me. And I think my stand-up about airplane food was actually pretty funny. Duncan, Emily, and Sarah. No. Lights go off. Emily. Hey, who turned out the light? Duncan. It must have been the ghost. Don't worry, I have a lantern. Turns on lantern. Enter Mr. Clydesonberry. The ghost. Mr. Clydesonberry. The ghost. Ooh. Everyone screams. Mr. Clydesonberry. The ghost. I'll get you all. You'll pay for TPing my wife's house. Ooh, and you, young man, looks at Jack. Can I fondle your nose? Jack freaks out and attacks Ghost. Get out of my room, you nose-fondling creep. Emily. Wait a second. That's just a man with a white sheet over his head. Take it off and we'll see who he really is. Jack pulls sheet off Ghost. Jack, Duncan, Emily, and Sarah. Mr. Clydesonberry, Duncan. But you're supposed to be dead. Mr. Clydesonberry. I only pretended to be dead so I could frighten away intruders from my poor wife's house. Being a math teacher and everything, a lot of kids want to TP her house. And I would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for you meddling kids. Jack. How dare you rip off a catchphrase from a classic 1969 TV series. Duncan. I guess I should have known. Infections on the smallest toe? Who ever heard of such a thing? Everyone knows you're supposed to get them on the index toe. Sarah. I guess I kind of feel bad for the guy. Hey, will you join us in our annual Monster Mash? Mr. Clydesonberry. I think I'll pass. Emily. But it's dubstep. Mr. Clydesonberry. Well, why didn't you say so in the first place? Hey, I'm Pete, by the way. Emily. Well, it's nice to meet you, Pete. Let's get started. Dubstep music plays and they all dance and eat their candy. Enter narrator. Everyone else freezes in position. Exit Mr. Clydesonberry for costume change if also playing Officer Tissier. Scene 5. Narrator's house. Narrator closes storybook. And that's how my favorite Halloween went. Oh, what a hoot. Thanks for listening to my story, guys. I really appreciate it. Doorbell rings. Exit all that are frozen in place to the upstage of narrator. Narrator. Well, it looks like there's one more visitor tonight. Opens door. Enter Officer Tissier. Officer Tissier. Bonjour, you are all under arrest for stealing all that candy tonight. Narrator. Officer Tissier? Officer Tissier. That's Tissier. Come on, let's go. I've been waiting all those years since that one night you tipped the Cladsenberry house to finally get my hands on you. Now that I have all the reports from the whiny parents and the video footage from your mom, that is all I need. Narrator. You know you don't have to do this. You were so chill that one night letting us go when we caused the pandemonium that probably led to a long cleanup November 1st. Well, for Miss Cladsenberry, that is. Good old Pete had so much fun with us that he remembered the good old days of not having a cranky, over-caffeinated wife who yells at kids. Why don't you just have a good time tonight and stop your 20-year streak of being the one officer in this town to patrol the streets on Halloween every year? Go have some fun. Officer Tissier. No, unless you happen to have loaves of bread for me to throw at the next... to throw at people the next time my country has a revolution. Narrator. Okay, here you go. Whatever you need to have a great Halloween. Hands him a loaf of bread. Officer Tissier. I can't tell you how much this means to me. I wouldn't expect you to do this all those years back. Narrator. Well, what can I say? Good parenting on my mom's part, I guess, and I got extra parenting. Officer Tissier. Well, have a wonderful Halloween then. I will change all my ways, as well as go back to being a chef at a fancy restaurant back in my home country, I guess. No need to be an underappreciated entity, especially among the teenage population. Operation Start a Second Revolution by throwing bread at people. Here I come. Exit Officer Tissier. Narrator. Finally, that idiot is out of the way. If you think I'm a changed man from all those years back, you've got a lot to learn about tricksters, my friends. Hope you all enjoyed this wonderful video and that your childhood came pouring out while watching. This is Jack, signing off. Turns off camera. Sarah, you can come out now. Thanks for pretending to be my mom for the video. Enter older Sarah, played by the same actress as Miss Cladsenberry. Older Sarah. Anything for my favorite husband. Hugs Jack. Narrator. What did you do with my mom anyway? Older Sarah. She's in the basement, resting. Well, most of her. Her eyes didn't quite make it to the basement. Shows narrator a Whole Foods bag with peeled grapes inside. Narrator. Well, at least this takes care of her binocular fetish. Older Sarah. Oh, who am I kidding? Those are peeled grapes in there. See? Shows peeled grapes. I actually sent her to the store. It'll be fun to lock her out of the house tonight so we can have another monster mash, if you know what I mean. Narrator. Man, we have to get an apartment. Enter all others. Everyone. Trick-or-treating 101. Curtain call.